Welcome to the Fashion Translator. I'm Claire, your host. Together we explore how AI and innovation are reshaping the fashion industry through creativity, technology, and global partnership. For today's episode, I'm thrilled to welcome Jessica Schisler, founder of Sunny Cup. Jessica, welcome to the show. Please introduce yourself and the company.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. I'm Jess Schisler. I am the founder of Sunny Cubs. We are an outdoor brand for babies and kids. Think about all the time that you spend outside. I've really created a product to help babies get outside when their skin is the most delicate and they're able to actually get out and protect their skin.
Tell us a bit more about the story behind Sunny Cubs.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a really fair person. My husband is also fair. We lived in California when my daughter was born. And within the first few weeks of our daughter being born, my husband was actually diagnosed with melanoma. So as new parents, we really took the time to really understand like what did that mean and how we can prevent it in our children. And as a founder, it's my bread and butter to protect my own children right now. And I'd love to share that with as many other parents to protect their children as well, because it's really important. A bit of a background about me: I am an outdoor enthusiast. I'm an ex-triathlete. I hike when I'm not swim, bike, running, and I just love the outdoors. And I want to bring that forward into my children and our upbringing. And to do that, we do a lot of backpacking. And, when I was backpacking with my daughter in Arizona, she was just 9 months old. We ended up doing like 7 national parks. And
Wow.
there wasn't a lot of sun protection for her, like product, like clothing. Personally, I know it's controversial, but I really didn't like the idea of putting sunscreen on her. Her hands are always in her mouth. And so I, at that point, was really trying to find product that I can put on my daughter that was clothing that can protect her, even though in my pack I had a cover that was like protecting the top of her head, but her face, her neck, and her hands were still really exposed, as well as her lower body. There are a couple brands out there, but I didn't like them. They were either very much on the like cartoony side, or they fit really tight. So as an outdoor enthusiast and someone that enjoys moving my body, I wanted my child to be in soft and comfortable, and also like aesthetically very like neutral colors and neutral palettes and that sort of kind of vibe when I was out with her. So we tried everything on the market, and then she eventually got big enough that she could wear sun protective clothing that the rest of brands actually create, which is typically like toddler onward, but there wasn't really a lot for babies. So then I was kind of out of the woods with the baby phase, and then we had my son. And once I got pregnant, I was like, I really needed to solve this problem because, the baby phase, there's a lot going on with mom, and it's really important going through all those hormones and postpartum that she gets outside and she embraces, nature and moves her body. Like postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety, a lot of women are impacted by it. And for me, I was able to navigate that outside, but I really needed my child to be protected. So when I was pregnant with my son, I really wanted to protect my son. And I knew that there wasn't a lot on the market. So that's when I like declared Sunny Cubs was going to be a thing. And I started designing and working with different experts in the industry to help me develop something that was for outdoor parents. And in that like gear, it's not just, cute and fun kind of clothing. It's more gear, to be honest. And really how I look at it is like sun gear. When we go out, we go hiking or backpacking, or we're on a boat or whatever it is, we're wearing sun protection, and it's gear and it's required. So that's kind of the story of Sunny Cubs. My son is now 1.5, and we had our first summer with him in our product and, going through the Rocky Mountains, and we spent time in Whistler, and we do have history in Canada. I am Canadian, but we live in the US. So we're really just like high traveling people, and hiking and all of that outdoor is really who we are. And that's who we connect with the brand when we think about Sunny Cubs.
And tell us more, because you mentioned this balance between gear and functionality, and yet still have this aesthetic that attracts you. Tell us a bit more about what this balance is for you and how you bring it to life for SunCub.
Sure, yeah. So anyone that spends time outside and they're camping or they're spending time on the boat or they're, hiking, or maybe they do sports and they're, at the soccer field and they're spending time outside. It's a lot of it is equipment that you're bringing to really enable you to be able to do whatever the task is that you're doing or whatever the sport is. And I really look at Sunny Cubs as a piece of gear that comes
Mm-hmm.
along on all of your adventures. You pack it up and you don't have to worry about, with sunscreen. Sunscreen is, been in the industry forever. There is definitely a time and a place for sunscreen. I wear sunscreen. My kids wear sunscreen on their face
Yeah.
every day. But the component that, like, when I think about gear, it's they wear their Sunny Cubs shirt. This is actually a women's Sunny Cubs shirt that I'm
Mm-hmm.
prototyping right now. And, the idea here is that they wear gear outside, especially in those like prime hours between 10 and 2, where UV rays are the highest, and it protects their skin. And I don't have to worry about reapplying sunscreen. I don't
Yeah.
have to worry about chemicals. I don't have to worry about all of that, especially in those like younger era of like being a mom. You already have so much to be anxious about and so many things to worry about. Having a piece of clothing that is, in my eyes, gear, on your child, you no longer have to worry about it. The blanket falls off or the sunscreen has to be reapplied every 2 hours. And our product, you put your baby in the clothing and whatever is covered is now they're protected. You don't have to worry about
Mm-hmm.
it. So there's key features about our product that are a little different than what's out in the market. We have hand covers. So essentially like you pull them up over the hand, just like sleepers, but we use it,
Mm-hmm.
when you're adventuring, you don't have to worry about baby either scratching their face if they're really small, or, when they're older, they're in a carrier potentially in the front or in the back, and their hands are now covered. Our product has a hood with little ears that are essentially like the little bears, and mama being the mama bear, so baby bears. So our hoods actually have little ears on them, but it
Mm-hmm.
really helps with like not the ears, but in general, a hood, an oversized hood that kind of covers this area. So these
Yeah.
delicate areas that are your neck and the side of your face, your ears, the back and neck. Like think about your kid playing in the sandbox and they're bent over and these areas are just exposed. Now you just throw a hood on and you have like easy coverage on your
Mm-hmm.
child. And then also our toddler line. So we have two products. One is our adventure sunsuit, which is a full onesie that covers everything, hands, hood, full arms, full legs, with snaps for easy accessibility, but also you're able to like get some air movement compared
Uh-huh.
to zippers. So that's really the
Okay.
direction that we went, was ventilation. So you're wearing long sleeves and you're wearing long pants, and potentially it's like 80 or 85 Fahrenheit out and it's pretty
Yeah.
warm out. You want to also make sure that they're not overheating. So you're able to like
Mm.
get some air movement in there if you really need to. But that's really where I'm coming from, is like it's gear. It always comes with you. You throw it in your diaper bag or your pack or whatever you're going to and from your adventure. And it's your one all. You're able to just throw it on your baby or your toddler and they're able to be protected immediately. You don't have to worry about waiting 15 minutes before they start playing outside. It's
Yeah.
immediate. The actual composition of the fabric is tensile lyocell, organic cotton, and spandex. So it's really built to move with your body, but also from like a soft perspective, like being sensitive skinned and also considering we're a baby brand, it's still really
Yeah.
important that the product is really soft. And that was like one of the first things when we're talking about, sourcing
Yeah.
fabric and whatnot. The softness, the ability for it to like help cool your skin. And that's the magic with tensile lyocell.
Yeah.
So
Breathability.
exactly. Yeah. So we really wanted to, enable mom to get outside. She has an
Mm-hmm.
easy way to get her child, baby or toddler, protected from the sun and feel good about the fact that the fibers are all natural and that she will not need to worry about reapplication of sunscreen. It's just one less thing to be stressed about when you're trying to do what's best for you. And what that means is like moving your body, getting outside, getting fresh air, and living
I
your best
think,
life.
yeah, I think even just as an adult, there's to have this flexibility is something that's an adult. Like if you think about just hiking, sometimes you start even before the sun is up. So the difference in temperature when you start in the middle and when you finish already as an adult, it's challenging. So for a baby, it's really next level.
Absolutely. And, your baby can't communicate if they're uncomfortable other than crying, but they also can't regulate their own temperature.
Mm.
So it's really important to, obviously there's a ton of data and information. I'm not going to say I'm the expert around like what is the right temperature to bring your child out in. Or if you are going to be outside in the elements and UV rays are reflecting off of rocks or they're reflecting off
Yeah.
of sand, let's say, our product will keep your child protected. What I do want to share though is there's a ton of swimwear brands, and ours is not intended for water. Ours is
Mm.
intended for day wear. So
Okay.
everything except water. There, in my opinion, as a businesswoman, the swimwear industry is saturated for babies and kids. And there's, I personally have challenges when there's just like so much stuff, so much consumption, so many brands
Yeah.
making things. And that's kind of
Saturated. Yeah.
exactly. And that's what I see happening in the swimwear kind of industry for babies and kids, also adults. But that material is really great for water and protecting your skin in the water when it comes to UV rays. But wearing it daily is not great for your skin. It's certainly not great for baby when it comes to sensitivities. So that's where, as a consumer, also, like I wanted to get outside with my kid doing all the things. And, my toddler is running around sweaty, just being a human, and the thought of something that wasn't like very breathable and able to keep her skin cool, that was just essential. So to me, it was a no-brainer, and I'm hoping that other families out there will find a lot of value in what we're creating.
I think the story and what drives the brand is very strong. Would you say that this has been a contributor when it comes to building the customer base, reaching the parent, and creating a sense of community around parents that will have the same concerns and certainly notice the gap in the market as well?
Absolutely. So my husband, he's been cleared of melanoma. He actually had surgery in his face, and I went through all of the processes and getting some lymph nodes removed. So he is okay. But I think going through that, we've really become advocates for sun protection in general. And it goes from like even driving in a vehicle and like, does your windows have UV protection? Because typically your front windshield doesn't and your hands are
Yeah,
just exposed. I can talk for hours on this topic, but when I'm out in the community and I'm hiking and adventuring with other parents, that topic comes up every time. Not always from me, but like,
I'm not
they're worried
surprised.
about their
Yeah.
children. We're involved in a couple different outdoor groups, so hiking groups and walking groups in the US and in Canada. And, we create space to have those conversations to help educate. 80% of your UV exposure happens from the age of like 0 to 18 years old.
Mm.
So those years your mom and dad or caregiver is in charge
Yeah.
of the safety of children, like it's really important. Like you can really reduce the risk of skin cancer if you wear sun protective clothing and, pair it with sunscreen with the components that aren't covered, like your face typically. Yeah. So we're really trying to get out into the community. My husband has been an advocate, but you'll always see him with a ginormous hat on. We wear hats, but he was affected directly. And
Yeah.
it's been a lot, and I think that I'd love to help as many families not have to go through that and the fear and the all of the components of skin cancer.
Yeah. I think to bring awareness on this is something that's very valuable. If we're looking ahead into the future, what are some innovation or shifts that you're excited about when it comes to sun protection and children wear?
Yeah, so I come from corporate world in terms of like more on the finance side and also like risk legal side. So my experience in like innovative fabrics is very limited, and I've brought on a team to help me with the design component. But when I think about how we look in the future and what we're doing both for sun protection but also as a brand, it's
Hmm.
really important important that we're not just like making crappy product and
Yeah.
pumping it out there in the world and getting all these big retail wholesale relationships and just saturating the market. For me, for Sunny Cubs and like my belief around, how we can help the industry and help parents, I really want to be developing really strong styles that are timeless, that
Mm-hmm.
we don't have to worry about having to mark them down significantly and having to fill the landfills when the colors aren't selling, and just that like massive consumption that happens in, North America. I really want to be a part of the movement where we're only making small batch. We're only producing what we need for our consumers.
Mm-hmm.
We're probably going to sell out and then we won't have product for a little bit. But I'd rather be in that world where we're
Mm-hmm.
not just making so much stuff and then throwing it away. So that's really like a value of ours. But also, we have a couple other businesses that, we can chat about another time. But the land of actually resale is important to us. So because we're
Mm-hmm.
making such high quality item, we are going to be next year offering to our consumers to buy back their product. And then if there's any like refurbishment or anything that needs to be done on it, and then reselling it at a lower cost as
Mm-hmm.
used, previously loved, to maybe, folks and families that can't afford the price point at the brand new price. And that really helps. Like when I think about how do I get our product in all parents' hands, it's not always going to be brand new potentially, just with like the cost and whatnot, because we are producing here in the US and our supply chain is very tight in terms of having it sustainable. So we're not like moving things all across the world. We're really honing in
Mm-hmm.
and making our product in a small footprint. So there's often like costs that come to that, but also I want to be ensuring that I can help bring our product to a wide range of incomes within the US. So having a buyback program, essentially it's like your child moves up a size, you mail your product back in, we send you the next size up and you get a discount for the next time. And you can essentially like, move up the sizes as your child grows, but then we can then do something with that actual garment and then potentially resell it to another family that would love it and, protect another family's skin.
I think that's a very smart approach because if you think about it, also this aspect of buying clothes for children, the fact that they grow so fast, and I feel it's a decisive factor. As a mom, if you buy the clothes, like how long will they wear this? Is it worth the
Absolutely.
investment? So
Yeah.
I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we're here to support parents from day one. So we're starting our size range at like newborn and then going all the way up today to size 6T. So we're here to support parents from day one, which means we're starting our size range at newborn and we're going all the way up to 6T. So right now we have two styles. One is our adventure sunsuit, which is the full onesie, and that's from 0 to 24 months. And then we have a toddler hoodie, which is essentially a long sleeve, kind of like what I'm wearing with a hood. And that's from size 2T to 6T. And that is really just to like be competitive in the market because that size range is pretty normal for sun protection. But the 0 to 24 months is really what is missing in the
Mm,
industry, in my opinion.
yeah.
And I've heard it a lot from other people, other families, that like there's just nothing until you become a toddler. But a lot of families want to bring their children out when they're newborns or when they're infants. So that's kind of where that's our hero product. And that's where we're spending a lot of our time in creating that and testing it and to ensure that, we can help as many families with that adventure sunsuit as possible.
Well, Jess, we'll make sure to keep an eye on the progress of these
Yeah.
little items and everything related to Sunny Clothes.
Thank
We'll
you so
make sure
much.
to tune in. For our listener who also wants to keep in touch with Jess, there'll be all the links in the bio to stay connected and keep an eye on these products and these initiatives. Jess, thank you so much for joining me today.
Awesome. I really appreciate your time and yeah, just being interested in Sunny Cub.